Hello, I'm the actor that was hired to portray Sessions series creator TJ Carson. Welcome to our show, Sessions, where we listen in on fictional characters in therapy. These sessions may take place before, during, or after the media in which they originally appeared, and may have an updated flair. These characters may have been coming to sessions for years, or it may be their first and only time with Dr. Elizabeth Regina, our constant, consummate therapist. All characters are in the public domain. Today's radio show is written by TJ Carson, starring Cris King as session subject Sherlock Holmes, and as always, Kim Jackson as Dr. Regina. Some background for the script. Sherlock Holmes is a first year in university, having already met Irene Adler and Jim Moriarty. He's had his first bout with the wrong side of the law and was sentenced to a medical facility for drug addiction. Along with it, a psychoanalyst appointment every day for a few hours. Please enjoy as we present to you Sherlock's Safe.
Sherlock? Sherlock. I asked you a question.
Sounds about right.
It is the terms of your court order to answer the questions.
If I am remembering correctly, I believe it said I was to attend therapy, not to take part in the festivities.
Partaking in festivities is what got you in trouble.
Research, not festivities.
The drugs bust team would disagree.
Oh, and you or I should listen to the average IQ of a parade of monkeys who barely scraped by in primary school.
Sherlock, that isn't fair.
I wholeheartedly agree.
That's not what I meant.
Was it not? Interpretation is everything.
That's not true.
Coming from a psychodynamic psychologist, that's quite assuring.
Sherlock,
Yes, ma'am.
I asked you a question.
Once more for the upper balcony, then.
Why did you take the opiates?
Oh, I thought it was a question that might get us somewhere new. I answered that already. Keep up.
Research is not an answer the judge will find satisfactory.
Well, then it sounds like the behaviorists might have it right then, huh?
We are both in this together, so we have to have some respect for each other. I know we're in our last session and it's been rough, but I will not be spoken down to by an ego-addled teenager.
Irene has nothing to do with this.
What?
Oh, addled. Well, addled would imply this wasn't how I was previously.
Sherlock, please, work with me.
What is there to do, Doctor? I've been through the due process, I've been adjudicated, and I get out tomorrow. The clock is now coming off its winding.
Which will make the next bit you spend with me tick ever more slowly.
Score one for the doctor.
Thank you. The opiates?
Who determines those are bad for you?
Doctors?
The ones who get the patients afflicted by it. How convenient.
Sherlock, that isn't...
I know.
They just...
I said I know.
Okay, I do have another question then.
Ask away.
Why did you already have a drug addiction treatment book?
That wasn't in my school flat. Mycroft.
Is that supposed to be asked and answered on both sides?
Take it as you like. That's who gave it to me.
Any of the other important things in the room?
Not from Big Brother. I'm surprised he gave me a book to read without being in the unmonitored corner.
He told me he was worried about you.
What else would you expect from the Ministry of Truth?
Mycroft isn't an Orwellian character. He's your brother, and he cares about you.
What a pedestrian assessment. Fine. Say he does care for me. Why wouldn't he just talk to me about it instead of sending me a book, then calling the cops on me? That bureaucrat.
Some would say that calling the cops on you would count as caring about you.
Yes, and we would call those people...
I'm not going to say idiots.
Idiots. Correct.
When it comes to him, you really haven't grown up, have you?
Not quite yet. However, I am still a teenager. I am, for now, granted this luxury.
When it's convenient for you, right?
Brownie point, Regina.
I'd like to give you another book, if you don't mind.
I'd assume it's a book about suicide by the sound of your tone and the placement of your hands. Most people would take that as an insult, but the muscles around your eyes are relaxed and dilated, showing you actually do care about this, so I'll take it, sure. What's the brilliant work of literature this time?
It's an Oxford text that I...
Yes. Suicidology and Suicide Prevention, a Global Perspective. It's a decent read.
Sherlock, what is this really all about?
Bit of a non sequitur, don't you think?
Even at several-hour sessions, I don't often have time to be sequitur with you. What is this really all about? The drugs, the arson, the meddling? What happened to you? You were a bright student when you were younger.
Again, that would imply that I am not that way now.
You aren't. You're failing not just tests, but whole courses.
In my defense, alcohol is technically a solution.
Not from the alcohol education assessment standards.
Then that should have been an option for me to answer.
Sherlock, the only reason you said you did it was to spite the instructor.
Maybe so.
Why are you here then? Grades dropping, family ostracizing you, girlfriend leaving you? I've seen it before. You can just tell me.
These are all things that have nothing to do with research. And I did tell you before that research is the reason I'm here.
That's all you care about, isn't it?
Yes. Are you not listening?
I'm listening, all right. What's the safe for then?
Pardon?
The safe. In your flat, there was a safe. It had the ultimate lock on it. No lock picking, no breaking, lockout feature, the works.
Yes, there is. Many people do. What of it?
Well, the police finally got it open. There wasn't anything inside.
Not every safe is full all the time.
They said it appeared to have never been opened.
Some people are careful when they open things.
No. There were no markings on the inside or out of the box except for your handprints on either side. They said you'd probably put your hands there several hundred times.
I didn't like where it was. I moved it a few times.
And put your hands in almost the same place every time.
Preciseness is one thing I'm known for. You don't get asked to help solve murders and burglaries without having some deftness with precision.
Sherlock, you know what I've noticed over the past 3 months about you?
That I'm a high-functioning sociopath with a possible borderline personality disorder and depersonalization disorder.
I knew you would do it. You can't help yourself. The first one is true, and the last one is so far out there that you wanted the second one to seem just as insane as the others. But the middle is almost true.
You think I have some sense of lost self-identity, Regina? Really? Because I was poking fun earlier, but if that's really what you think, I might have to report you for malpractice.
That's not the only part of the description.
A serious mental illness characterized by pervasive instability in moods, interpersonal relationships, self-image, and behavior. This instability often disrupts family and work life, long-term planning, and the individual's sense of self-identity. I know what it is.
That's right. You do know what it is. You know it is also accompanied by intense episodes of anxiety, depression, and irritability lasting from a few hours to several days.
That's just called being in university.
Followed by rage when others fail to meet expectations.
That's just called being intelligent.
And go into self-destructive habits like not eating.
Again, that's just university.
And drug abuse.
Not abuse. Calculated application.
You also go between idolizing people and undervaluing them.
I don't think I have an answer for that one, mainly because of the nonsense about it. What does that mean?
You actually do have poor self-identity, which makes any relationship with anyone a very intense one, filled with a lot of conflict.
I don't think I take your point.
You do take my point, Sherlock. There's no need to pretend. I mean, what have we really been talking about for 3 months? You take all the feelings of inadequacy from everything, the love, the rage, the hate, the self-loathing, the unrealistic expectations you hold for others and yourself, and you shove them in that safe to hide forever, instead of taking the time and energy to deal with them. Then you take what's left over from this this surgical removal of your mind, and call that your personality.
A cigar is sometimes just a cigar, and an empty safe is sometimes just an empty safe.
And sometimes an ordinary angry teenager is just an ordinary angry teenager. But you, Sherlock Holmes, I believe you are quite far from the normal ordinary.
Thank you.
Have I stumped the great Sherlock Holmes?
I don't know if I just can't follow this scatterbrained thinking or if I'm actually confused.
How about we start with the truth then? How do you feel right now?
Fine.
And when the eyes are off you?
I'm always fine.
I said, how about we start with the truth?
Open.
Open?
Yes, open.
Not safe?
Right.
Why not?
When's the last time you felt safe, Doctor? Really safe. No fear whatsoever.
I feel safe now.
Do you really, though?
I do.
Honestly, you think you can lie to me? That isn't how it works. Your eyes are fully focused around the edges, your carotid artery is basically jumping out of your neck, your leg is fidgeting, you have a tremor whenever I take too long to answer, and your words are getting hurried. You're afraid that you won't be able to solve what you think are my problems. It's been 3 months. I don't think you can.
I did solve you, though. Game over, Mr. Holmes.
If that's true, why are you worried?
It bothers you not to know, doesn't it?
Who wouldn't be bothered by that?
You're not used to it, are you? Simpletons and 4-year-olds puzzles usually, but when you don't know the answer, you get nervous. Hold on. The feeling isn't nervousness. Oh, it's excitement, isn't it? It's surprising when you don't know something. That's why you've failed your exams. You've put what you consider useless information out of your head, and you don't even realize it. You can only get rid of the things you can't control. And the actual confusion comes. You really don't realize you do it, do you? Only the emotions.
I guess introspection isn't useless.
It's up to interpretation, eh?
Don't be so happy. This changes nothing.
This is the most open you've ever been.
Wrong. There's more than me in that safe you love talking about so much.
Irene?
There are useful functions and there are excess functions. Pain makes us vulnerable and knowledge makes us powerful. There is no room for trivial information or useless faculties. Irene is part of the useless faculties when she did what she did. Experimentation to the highest monetary benefactor for the ostracized Sherlock Holmes. Addiction is more than a need, Doctor. It's a habit. You know as well as I do that when you find a way that works, we stick to it. Innovation in and of itself can even count as a standard. When problems are solved by opiates or eye surgery medication or nicotine, who am I to say they're wrong? They work and they've never failed me. The things that have failed me are all stuffed in that safe. You're intelligent enough a person to know what those things are.
You called me intelligent.
And idolization, I'm certain. Being stuffed in a room for 2 hours every other day with a garden variety, middle child, electrocomplex riddled psychologist can only merit so much for the side of the living consciousness. I've almost forgotten what the outside world consists of, though I'm certain that's what I'm supposed to be feeling by this stage.
The same can be said for so-called wit, so-called intelligence, and so-called power. A man trying to be a god without the slightest hint of golden blood. The most intelligent ones in the room are the ones who believe that's not the case. Not much has really changed since Socrates' time, Sherlock, and everyone, even you, can be solved.
Only by an intellectual equal, of which I've only met one.
Yes. The last time you had a rival of your caliber was the last time you belonged to the government for a stretch. But it seems that James served his time for being too smart. You, on the other hand, have not learned that being too intelligent is not always to your benefit. You've forgotten that even the lowest common denominators are factored into equations, and they occasionally run the gamut on everyone. Ignorance doesn't mean stupid.
And how do you know who I consider ignorant?
The same reason I know you caged everyone and everything in that safe. Because I can see you are just as ordinary as the next person I'll tend to when you leave this place or when I leave this place. No come to Jesus meeting will save either one of you, but the odds he'll have someone to care for him will be exponentially more in his favor than yours. Even vagrants have those who will care for them just because of the circumstances they've fallen into. You're just a spoiled schoolboy who can't do maths and experiments with the spectrum of narcotics to solve problems that you should be able to solve with your supposedly brilliant mind.
People do change. Not just out of spite, either.
Not those who've believed all the stories they've concocted for themselves to follow. You love your experiments, but the ones conducted on you by others have failed your own unrealistic standards that you hold everyone else to.
You're wrong.
The cards have been shown, Sherlock.
Tarot or magic? Because those sound about as useful as your examination.
Take your pick. It doesn't really matter now.
See, this is the problem with all these PhMDs that walk through the door. Their noses so far shoved up themselves they don't have an inch of self that isn't stained by it. They think that being well-read is a substitute for having a personality, much as you picked and needled mine enough to make a cushion for yourself. You know books, but I know behavior. I can make each and every shrink's inexplicably small head spin on every pin you try to fence me in with when you walk into the arena with me. You told me we needed to have respect for each other. What have you done to deserve that? Have you saved someone when they asked, is there a doctor here? Have you solved a murder, met the Queen, received nothing short of 5 free-for-life restaurant offers for solving some problem for them?
I mean respect for each other as a common courtesy, as people.
Common courtesy, my God. Is that where we're at now? The same notion that holds back titans.
Your arrogance and stagnation has proven more reliable than any perspective psychology could offer. No wonder they failed you. I bet you $20 that in 10 years, you'll be with another duped flatmate with that safe tucked away in the corner of the room, with all the rest of your problems just ready to explode like a time bomb. You won't ever think of it as a time bomb, though. You'll keep it just to prove to me that you won't explode. After all this posturing, you're just an ordinary person with ordinary problems, trying to pretend you're measles or the next generation of the plague. The game is no longer afoot, Sherlock Holmes. Your safe is cracked.
What do you intend I say to you? That you're right, that you're wrong, that you're throwing cheese at the wall until something sticks is a greater show than anything Barnum and Bailey ever put out? What do you want me to say?
I want you to realize that being normal is okay. I want you to realize that after all that we've been through over these 90 days, I am not trying to fight you. We've had our fights, yes, but I am not your enemy. I want what's best for you, in spite of yourself. You end up on the floor of your next university dorm choking on your own aspirations, your story is that. It ends there. You're the smartest person in purgatory. Congratulations.
I told you, it's calculated. I won't end up that way. I am not...
Not what? Not your father?
I know that if I say I'm going to kill Mycroft when I get out of here, I know that supersedes doctor-patient confidentiality. So I will not say that.
Oh, I am so... I'm tired of this, Sherlock.
That's the most relatable thing you've said in nearly a season.
I know we've had our issues here, but this is our last day. So I'm going to give up some of the professional artifice. I've tried all manner of communicating with you. Being kind, being matronly, being rational, being neutral, matching your tone, and I've only got one Hail Mary left. I'm just going to be me. I am tired of one of the smartest people I've met by a country mile not being any more rational than a boy king, drunk with power and stupidity. You are not dumb, but you are doing dumb things. I am tired of you digging your heels in when people try to help you, or when you try to help yourself.
I don't need help.
I know, you've said that a number of times. You have been burned by help too many times in your life, and so you don't let anyone give it to you. But then that extends to you as well, and you bite back at the help you try to give yourself. You are made of contradictions like everyone, and again, normal is not a dirty word. But you are dragging yourself down by the temples each time you put things in that safe that you don't want to deal with. Psychology has failed you, Sherlock. And some of that is our fault, I know. I can't speak for anyone else. I'm not the representative for the entire field, but for myself, I'm sorry I was not able to reach you in a substantial way. I'm not sure anything I say in here is ever going to get through, and that goes for more than just you. Plus, I guess some people are beyond help. But I don't want you to be one of them, Sherlock. So whether or not we meet again in your next stint, or the next life, or never again, I hope you can respect, from a research standpoint, that if the same solution keeps coming up, that might be the answer. You have solved so many things in your life already. The safe is cracked. Break it the rest of the way and get to solving those things too. All right? Sherlock? Yeah. Okay. Our time is up. You're free to go.
Thank you for joining us for Sherlock's Safe. We'll be back next time with Ishmael's Indecision. We hope to see you then. Keep your ears open. You never know what you might discover. Good night.